There comes a host of others, ghoulish, garish little figures that haunt and taunt and accuse and rebuke, and each one is defeated as you keep your eyes on the one who sits astride that charger. Each one retreats back, 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 until at last one lone figure comes forward. That one last figure strides forth. In fact, you'd not noticed him. He seems to have stood unobtrusively, quietly, at the very center of all of the others. And somehow, you've got the impression that they get whatever power they do have from him. But he's not even moved, not the flicker of a muscle until that very moment. But finally, when all of the others have retreated, he steps forward, slowly. No trace of hurry. He's tall, gaunt, deliberate, a hooded figure who stops straight in front of you. And in morbid curiosity, you try to peer up under that hood where you can see his face, and just then he lifts his cowled head. You realize there is no face. It is an empty, black, haunting robe. Not a word is spoken from visible lips, but a voice as cold as a grave penetrates your innermost being, and it says, go ahead, laugh, sing, enjoy this parade. Go on, but you know and I know that in the final analysis I will have you, for I'm death. I'm he himself, Lord Death. I'm the final death. I'm the second death. He says, for now, I wear these chains because it pleases me. It's just part of my plan, but in the final analysis, you're going to be mine. You're going to be mine. I'll have you. You're going to die. You'll meet me. And all of a sudden, here you are with all of the beauty of heaven around you. Have you ever stood in a place where everything just seemed too good to be true, and all of a sudden something shattered it? And there was that feeling of sickness that begins to well up in the very pit of your stomach when everything is out of control and there's nothing you can do about it. Weakness, blackness, terror begins to flood over your being, and you feel staggered. You begin to weave on your feet as though you're going to swoon, and there's a sickness building up in the very pit of your stomach. You begin to feel it's true. This thing is true. Finally, this horrible, horrible figure, he's going to somehow shake the chains off, and all of the joy that I've been feeling, it's going to be taken from me. And there's such anxiety and such fear and such stark terror as it just embellishes itself with ugliness and vileness. Then at the last second, just as you begin to feel yourself weaving forward as if to fall over into his arms, something deep down in you utters the name Jesus. Jesus. Help me, Jesus. Help me, Jesus. You hear yourself saying, Jesus, help me. And then that voice, like the rumble of 10,000 waterfalls, literally fills the halls of the universe. And Jesus looks you square in the face and he says, I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection. And oh, come on, that's who he is. You are suddenly surrounded by a sound like nothing you've ever imagined in your life. Everything goes wild with praise. There's dancing in the street, joy and happiness that you could not even know a vocabulary to describe. And your whole being is filled with a delight as suddenly you realize there is a difference in life and just being alive. There's a difference between life and mere existence that is as different as night is from day. No, even greater than that. You're overcome with the comprehension that up until now, you that very moment have only existed, but now you're overcome with the very essence, the quintessence of life that penetrates through your mind and your body and your spirit. And for the very first time in your life, you truly understand what it means to be filled with incomprehensible, immeasurable joy, and you're being filled up with it. But now comes the most shocking part of this whole event. As you stand there, you look at that horse, you sense the muscles in his leg. It's beginning to tense. The hooves are just about to lift. It's that first little gathering of strength as the muscles tense just before springing into action. A flicker of a moment, just a fraction of an instant, and something happens for which you are completely unprepared in contrast to anything that has happened so far. From out of the crowd, a young boy rushes right past you, brushing your elbow as he rushes past you. Before anyone can stop him or say a word without hesitation, headlong, he plunges into the street right there. He falls on his knees in the midst of all of those defeated foes in chains, and he collapses in their midst. And before your horrified eyes, they fall on him and devour him. And you find yourself screaming, what is this intrusion? This is a monstrous thing. What could have happened here? Didn't he hear the music of the ages and the spheres? Didn't he see the trumpet and the parade of saints? Didn't he see the angels? Didn't he hear them sing? Didn't he see the one on the horse? Did he not see the nail scars in his hand? Didn't he hear him say, there is therefore no condemnation? Didn't he hear him say, I am the resurrection and the life? Didn't he realize the victory, the triumph was right there at his fingertips? How could he have chosen in that moment to run into the street and to become a victim, a slave of defeated foes?